Welcome back. The show's called Brand Equity, and I'm Sonali Krishna. Now, former Group M CEO and Max's worldwide CEO Vikram Sakhuja, after a long gardening leave, has joined homegrown media agency Madison as its Group CEO. Now, when the news of this hit us in April, it took the entire industry by surprise. After all, Vikram is known as the long-standing loyal hand of WPP. But now that we've had some time to digest this and Vikram has officially taken charge of Madison, I thought it was the best time to chat with him to get a sense of A, what's the mandate, and B, where he plans to take Madison from here on. So, I have for you, ladies and gentlemen, Vikram Sakhuja. Thank you so much for joining us, Vikram. Truly a pleasure having you on Brand Equity.
Always great to be at Brand Equity, Sonali.
Now that you've had some time to actually evaluate the agency, of course, you've always had a very good understanding of the business. But now that, you're taking charge as the captain of the ship, you must have had, enough time to understand, and do a SWOT analysis of Madison. If I had to ask you, where do you think your focus areas will be in Madison in terms of maybe to re-energize the agency so as to give it new direction and new energy?
I think the part where Madison, along with a whole lot of other agencies, need to get their act together is in the data, tech, and digital space.
Sure.
So I think it's just that the new consumer, the connected consumer that we're talking about, it just requires a different way of having a proper integrated plan going out to them. And I think this is something that a large number of clients are struggling with, a large number of agencies are coming to grips with. And just about the first chapter of this has really been written in India for anybody for that matter. So I think it's a good time to actually be coming in and sort of stepping the pedal on this one.
I also want to ask you about the recent losses that Madison faced. And actually, in all fairness, not really Madison's fault, so to speak. Unfortunate that Mandal has, severed ties with Madison because of a global mandate. And Airtel, of course, is another story. I'm being told by the industry that move was essentially more of a rate game, more than Madison actually going wrong. Correct me if I'm off somewhere. But having said that, do you think, as the man in charge, how are you looking to safeguard Madison's key accounts, so to speak, so as to ensure least bloodbath when it comes to impact from global mandates or globally aligned business?
Nothing talks louder than actually demonstrating value. Having been around the world, this part about this global alignments that you're talking about, it is a phenomenon, yes. But I've also seen that there is a lot of the jury is out on that one. Okay. So I'd say even amongst multinational clients, there would be a few which are globally structured and they require a network. But a large number of multinational agencies also believe in multi-local. Okay. So, I mean, if I have to look at the L'Oreal or the Nestle model or even Coke for that matter, if you see even these kind of multinational agencies, they might work with a roster of agencies, but they also work with local agencies. But end of day, they are pretty disaggregated in the way they work. So, so I'd say that the jury is out. And I think as we speak, now this I'm talking with my 27 years of experience, I think there are some areas where a global network can count, and it's really mirroring the client sort of their own network and their own structures, where I think a agency network really works. Apart from that, when it comes down to stuff like dissemination of global best practice like tools and stuff, there it's arguable, because I actually find that there are some tools which actually are sometimes better homegrown than if you have to just adapt a global tool blindly. So apart from that, really, I struggle to see a third, and believe me, I've struggled, because as a global agency CEO, at least the agency I was looking after, I think 75% of our business was all local. And it was a struggle to make a global play at that point in time and say that take us because we are a global network. And we were a very good global network. Sure. So I think a lot depends on the client network on that one. Now, if world over we see a trend where everybody starts saying that we see the power of global, then I think we'll have some serious rethinking to do. But otherwise, I think we're okay. And I think there's enough. I think a lot of clients actually want the nimbleness, they want the local activation. Even if you have to look at your global structures, you're still seeing strategy being centralized and activation pretty much being decentralized.
Sure.
And media typically comes in the activation game.
Right.
So I'm not overly paranoid about that factor.
One question that seems to be on everybody's mind, and I'd like to, ask you the same, is that, we all know, it's a given fact that Sam has been wining and dining with so many suitors, looking at valuations for Madison at a possible sellout. And we've all known, and you also know, this talk has been on since you were in WPP about the potential buyer being WPP, given Martin Sorrell and Sam Balsara's relationship. Having said that, he's, we've seen him in conversation with Dentsu and a lot of others. At a time when possibly, I don't know the definite timeline, but possibly in the foreseeable future, when you see, Sam looking at, selling out, why would you join at a time like that? Or is there a merit to the conspiracy theory, which we've all been hearing, saying that this is a precursor to the finale, which will be the WPP buyout?
I think that's a result of a pretty fertile imagination. I really don't know where that came from. But look, at this point in time, I think if I'm getting into something where I have some skin in the game, the idea is to create a value with or without a partner. It's not to say that if you have another partner, it doesn't mean that you can't create value even as a whatever shareholder in your own right. So I think if the opportunity is the right one or a good one, and of course I think this question is better put to Sam, but if you're asking me why am I in this, in case even if we decide to sell out at some point in time, it is because then I'll be equally a stakeholder in that game, and at that point in time I would argue that if we can increase the enterprise value with a partner more than if we can between the two of us, why won't we do that?
The other question I wanted to ask you is that, we believe that Sam has always claimed that he doesn't believe in giving, AVDs because that's his principle. Having said that, this has been a practice with all other media agencies, including the Group M's of the world. Is this something that you're looking to introduce within Madison as a culture, since you come from outside and you have an outside-inside perspective, or will you remain with Sam's principle of not giving any AVDs?
It's early days, and I definitely want to see the stuff that's working, and Sam has been very clear about this entire AVD piece that you're talking about. I have seen a world outside where I don't think any agency really wants to take any client for a ride, far from it.
Sure.
I think the remuneration issue is a real one, and I think it's a very relevant discussion that should be had at all kinds of forums. Now, I think that said, especially in the environment of data and tech, there are a few models coming up like programmatic, where question is, would you rather go to a media owner in, say, a technology giant who has got his supply side engine and he's using his analytics to help move up the price for publishers and himself, or would you like to work with a agency-led demand side platform where the job is to bring it down, but then there's a cost of data, there's a cost of inventory, there's a cost of tech, and all of that put together. Now, in that kind of an environment, I believe that is the kind of stuff where I feel that I don't think there should ever be a conflict of interest between what the client is asking for and what the agency is putting. And the parts where I found this discussion happening is clients sometimes are uncomfortable with agency being the buyer and the seller. I think it's important to dispel that. And if I have come from an environment where I've seen the value that an agency can play in those areas.
Last question to you, Vikram. 3 things we can expect from Vikram Sakhuja as the captain of the Madison ship.
Passion. I bring heap loads of passion for anything which I do. I think I'll bring a certain focus in terms of, I would love that, I'd like to bring certain empowerment to the team. So I would definitely like, I believe that it's not lip service, I actually think I've walked the talk on this one. I think that the team that is, because they're the ones who do all the work here, I think we need to empower them We need to give them the tools, the capabilities, the training, whatever else you want to call it. I'm going to spend a lot of time in empowering the team to lift the game. And there are a few agendas in this data tech piece that I'm going to start introducing.
On that note, thank you so much, Vikram. All the very best for your fresh innings as Madison.
I need it. Thank you.